Hello, it's Rebecca here from Precious Pages Papercraft, and today I'm designing a layout for Hip Kit Club and it's Product Focus Day. So today we are focusing on the Cardstock Kit, the Pocket Life Kit and the Simple Stories paper pad that we get within the Pocket Life Kit. So I think I do bring in a couple of foam stickers from the Embellishment Kit, but largely everything you see on this layout today will be from the March Cardstock Kit and the Pocket Life Kit. So I'm starting off with these two photos of my little boy planting seeds in our garden last spring. I've started off with two photos, but in the end I only use one. And the brick wall along the side of my house in the photo is what's inspired the design for today's layout. So I've pulled out 3 cardstocks from the March Cardstock Kit. I've got Sweet Melon, Cantaloupe and Lime Side. And now I'm flicking through that 6x8 paper pad, the Simple Stories one. It's from the Full Bloom collection. And I'm just picking some papers that go with my photo and the cardstocks I've pulled out. And I've gone back just to find a green paper because there are some greens in my photo. I've got the dark green of that flower trough that we've got our strawberry plants in. So I wanted to pull some of that in as well for a darker element. And what I've done with the cardstocks, just off camera, is I've cut them into little bricks, almost like my brick wall in the photo. So these are 1 inch by 2 inches. And the idea is I'm going to arrange them kind of like a staggered brick wall effect down the centre of my page. And I'm going to stick the cardstock flat to my background. Then I'm going to place the pattern paper pieces on top of those, kind of mismatching the colours and sort of spreading them out a bit. And then I'm going to stitch through the patterned paper pieces. So it means that the pattern paper is only sort of adhered to the layout with that run of stitch. So I should be able to effectively fold either side up to bring in a lot of dimension and texture. Now I do end up having to flatten the middle ones back down for my photo to sit on, but the ones at the top and the bottom and the edges, I can bend the sides up and it brings in loads of dimension. So hopefully you'll see in a second with some close-ups what I'm talking about. So there we go, I've forwarded through most of the cutting process for you as it's a little bit dull to watch. And I've now arranged my cardstock pieces flat on my background, kind of like a brick wall effect, trying to spread the colours out a little bit so I get an even distribution. And then I'm going to stick these down flat with double-sided tape and figure out where I want these patterned pieces to go. So once I've decided on my composition, I take the patterned pieces off and lay them to the side of my desk in the order that they're going on my background so that I know when I come to stitching them back in place, I'm getting them where I initially planned to have them. So now comes the fun part of trying to stick all of these pieces in and getting them in a straight line, which is not my forte. Even though I have a T-square ruler, I still struggle to get things straight on my layouts all the time. And you saw me having a fiddle with my photos there, and it was at that point that I decided I thought 2 photos was just going to cover up too much of the background that I've spent all this time creating with these little bits of paper, like little paper bricks. So I decided to go down to the 1 photo. But you can see I've turned the page so I'm working on the end closest to me just to help me line them up. I've got that first one stuck down and then I'm just using that as a guide to try and get the rest centred, starting with the central pieces and then doing the outer edges. And I'm going to work my way through the whole sheet and then stitch those patterned papers on top, and I'll be back to show you that in a second. And then, as if by magic with the power of editing, what would we do without technology? You can see I've just slowed this bit down for you so you can see what I've done. So those bits are stitched in place now and I can bend and fold those patterned papers up and it displays the cardstock underneath. And I just love how this looks. It's really dimensional and textural. It's just a bit more interesting than just having the pattern papers stuck flat to the background. In an album, obviously, it will all flatten out and you won't see those coloured cardstocks underneath. But when this is on display in my craft room and in a frame, you're going to see all the cardstock underneath. And it's kind of just more interesting and gives you something more to look at. So I love how that's worked out. And then onto my photo, I'm going to have this sat centrally in the middle of those bricks. So I've just mounted it on some white cardstock to give it a bit of separation and a nice frame. And then I'm adding in a layer of that dark green pattern paper from Simple Stories. It's got little flowers and snails all over it. It's really cute, but it matches the greens in the photo nicely and just brings in a little bit more darker element to the page. And I've added some foam behind that, so that's raised up from those pieces, which will allow me to bend the sides up either side of my photo, so bend those pattern papers up. And now I'm going to get onto my embellishing. So one of the papers in that 6x8 pad has loads of little kind of gardening images on. So I've fussy cut loads of those out. I've got an apron, I've got a watering can. What else have I got? There was a welly boot and a wheelbarrow full of flowers that I've cut as well. I did cut a trowel too, but I don't think that makes it onto my final layout. But I've fussy cut those and I'm arranging them around my layout. I've pulled in a title, Garden Day. That is the Simple Stories foam stickers from the embellishment kit. I really wanted a little bit of black and white in as my title, just to help it pop off and stand off the page. So I've used those. I'm now pulling out some die cut pieces. These are, again, Simple Stories journal bits from the Full Bloom collection. Those are from the Pocket Life kit. Just tucking some of the floral pieces around the fussy cut embellishments. And with that sort of gardener's apron, I actually accidentally snipped off the little kind of ropey bit that goes around your neck. So I come in with a bit of really thin twine in a minute and replace that and make it myself out of twine. So that gives it a little bit more texture on the page and just another material on the page and a bit more interest. I'm just working my way around at the moment, getting things stuck down. I'm using foam pads to bring in a bit of dimension. Again, I love to have lots of dimension on my pages. I really hate having everything stuck down flat. It just really bugs me. So I don't get as many layouts in my albums as probably your average person because my pages do have a lot of dimension, but it's what makes me happy. So I always reach for my foam pads and just getting these bits and pieces stuck in place. I've added one of the little kind of gardening signs, little wooden plaque things from that journal pieces pack in the Pocket Life kit. I've had that stuck in my welly boot, so I'm going to write the date on that when I get a chance. And this is me now just fiddling about trying to get that twine in place. I'm using double-sided tape to stick that in place behind my apron, so it's got a little bit that goes over the neck, and it's really cute. I love how that turned out. I wasn't sure it was going to look right, but I really do love how that's worked. I've also added a couple of little bumblebees. Those are again from the embellishment kit, those Simple Stories foam stickers. I love the dimension you get on those, so I've pulled in a couple of those. And now I'm adding in some chipboard flair. These are from the Pocket Life kit again. They are Pink Fresh Studio Life Right Now collection. And I've added, I think, 3. So I've got a red one that says Good Stuff, a kind of mustardy yellow one to match the pattern papers that says My Happy Place, and I've got a red one down the bottom there with my welly, which is kind of like a compass, but I thought that worked really well with my colour scheme. I'm also bringing in some of the Pink Fresh stickers from the Pocket Life kit. They're cardstock stickers, again from the Life Right Now collection. And I've gone with ones that match my colour scheme and kind of my theme. And I've stuck them to some white cardstock and then I'm cutting them out. This kind of serves a couple of purposes. It makes the stickers a little bit more rigid on the layout, but it also means that because I'm sticking them onto cardstock, it removes the sticky element off the back. So I can have a play now and move them about and see where I want them to go before sort of committing to getting them stuck in place. So I've got that circular element that says So Much to Love. I'm going to stick that over on the right there. Got a nice little gap for it almost, and I'm going to stick my bumblebee back in place on top of that. I've also got a little tab that says Binging on this, and I'm going to stick that down the side of my photo on top of my apron. Got a little kind of fishtail banner that says Pretty Good. The one that's in my hand now, I've just stuck down the bottom. What else have we got? We've got another one that says More of This Please. It's like a little banner piece I've stuck over to the left of my photo, and one that says Happy Heart that I've stuck along the top there. So loads of little pieces that I'm sticking in this layout, and that's what I love about the Pocket Life kit. They are full of little bits and pieces that you can tuck here and there and cluster and layer them up, and just makes a layout really interesting. And there we go, that is me done today. So just giving you a close-up, you can see all that dimension that I've created from folding those patterned papers up on top of the cardstock. And I absolutely love how this one turns out, and I think the colours work with my photo really well, so I'm really pleased with this one. So I've obviously got lots of close-ups coming up for you. Just to remind you, this layout was created using the March2022 Pocket Life Kit and Cardstock Kit. I'm focusing on that 6x8 paper pad that we get in the Pocket Life Kit. But I will pop some links down below to all of the March kits for you and the subscription page if you'd like to sign up to subscribe. I'll also list all the benefits down below. There's lots of benefits of being a Hip Kit subscriber too, including discounts, free shipping on additional kits, and access to exclusive cut files every month. So lots of benefits. So you'll find the links down for those below. But thanks very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.